What's going on, Cancer? Hope you're feeling balanced, feeling blessed. The moon is in Libra. And for those of you who are new, welcome to the Chariot and Friends. Justin here, and know that when you're coming across this video, you're in sync with the moon, and she loves that. And this is just for a channel for those of you who have Cancer in your placement, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, your midheaven, wherever Cancer. This one's for you if you just love syncing up with the moon. She's an excellent source for manifesting. And I do tarot card spreads based on our lovely ruler here, the good old moon. And I'll talk about what sign she's in, what phase she's in, when she's going void. Of course, just all those lunar shenanigans. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one, so take what fits into your story, discard the rest, and everything gonna be dope, Cancer. Now, I feel real dramatic for this one for some reason. Let's jump into it. Just trying to get you geeked up, Cancer. And I mean, it makes sense. It's Jupiter Day. And Cancer, your space has been cleansed. Crystals, they're feeling lovely. Let's move this mic a little bit. Just great energy all around here, Cancer. Maybe back it up a little bit. And Cancer, depending on when you're watching this, happy Jupiter Day. Jupiter is associated with Thursdays. We got love of good, love Big Papa. And this is a great day for expansion, for sharing wisdom, from learning wisdom. Yeah, learning wisdom, why not? Just learning some wisdom. But this is a great day too, I feel like, to bring in that buoyant energy of Jupiter, of, seeing that even despite life may be coming at you every which way, that it's still, okay, you think you're ready to want a piece of me, life? Well, let's bring it on. That's Jupiter. If you can't tell, I have Jupiter on my ascendant, so that's why I have all this big energy. So I'm just gonna really, if you're having troubles bringing it, I'm bringing it for you. And you know what? With Jupiter considering where Jupiter's at, Jupiter's in Gemini right now, so he's technically in detriment right now. So you might be seeing more, be kind of feeling the other side of Jupiter, having a little bit, needing to find that faith when you're facing both that light and that dark side, trying to balance that yin and that yang energy, because I was thinking light and dark, it's like we don't need to make that ominous. We're just balancing things out here. Jupiter. And that's what Jupiter can do for you. Find that different perspective there, provide that different thing, considering that Jupiter's in Gemini too. When you find yourself in sort of like a mood, it's just like, okay, what is this teaching me right now? And it's, maybe it's teaching you to let go. Maybe it's teaching you that, maybe other people are going through some other things, whatever the situation is. Maybe you stub your toe. It's like, you know what? Right, I need to slow down. Where's my head at? So just some things to think about with Jupiter Day. Now, depending on when you're watching this, the moon, lovely Luna, is going to be entering into lovely Libra at about 2:31 a.m. And that's going to be Pacific time. And she's forming a waxing, or she's in her waxing crescent phase right now. You know what? I was actually reading something really, really cool, and I like how he described it. Dane Rudd here has this book called The Lunation Cycle. I'll include that. I'm going to include a list of books and stuff that I like down in the description box below. Thanks. Hi yourself. We're going to talk about that, divine self guides. Okay, but he was talking about the relationship, and that's, when you're thinking about the lunar cycle, it is a relationship between the lights. They're special amongst, they're not necessarily planets, they're the luminaries. And when you think about the sun, that's our soul self, the higher mind. That's the gift from God that we're given when we're coming in here. It's what gives our soul that kind of that life force. And the moon tracks how we're receiving the messages from that divine source, from that self. It can really help kind of plot this out. So now that the moon is in this waxing crescent, we're receiving more light. This is one way to think about with this energy. As you're starting to get your intention and start to focus on these things, you can start seeing how new growth is coming for you, as the moon starts to increase and gets towards that first quarter phase. And then you're like, oh, you know what? I think I'm ready to take a bigger action. I like to think of the when I'm thinking about working with the lunar cycles. You're setting these bigger intentions when you think about like the 27th month kind of cycles. And then you could even set it for like a 6-month cycle from new moon to the next full moon. But then you could even set it within like a monthly one. And I like to think that the month, when we're first starting off of that new moon, this is really just kind of tilling the soil. We're thinking, what seeds do we want to plant? There's some we may know right away. There was like an intention that I had for this new moon in Leo that I already sort of had in the works, but I'm really kind of doubling down on it now. But there's some other things that are really starting to pop up for me too as this month is starting and this lunation is starting to move on. So start writing these stuff down. Note these changes throughout the month. This is not something you need to necessarily rush. The moon is about this nourishing this body, nourishing the energy. So, and then pay attention to your body. That's why it's so, the sun, moon, and the rising sign, or the ascendant sign. That's why those three are considered, one of the, the whole chart, of course, is important, but those three really play very personally to this vessel that you're operating in. So enough of that. There's just some things to think about with the waxing crescent. This is where the energies are starting to build up. You can feel a little more confident about something. An idea is starting to really start to take form there. And when we're thinking about the moon in Libra, this is really lovely. Libra is cardinal air. Let's break this down a little bit. It's this cardinal air energy. So it's this initiation of thought. What are some things that you're wanting to get started up right now? And the Libra too is a masculine expression of energy. And I don't mean just masculine as just like a male sign. It's a more active energy as opposed to Libra's other sign that she is lord over, Taurus, which is a more receptive earth energy. But with this Libra, this is something where, what kind of things do you want to start up? What are some things that can bring more harmony, more balance, more of the kind of those Venusian themes in your realm, into that part of your house? What house is this acting up in? That's what this Libra energy is wanting you to see, where maybe you've been kind of compromising on some things, maybe where you've been kind of hesitating. And the moon in Libra is an interesting one. I do feel that, considering that it is one of Venus's signs, though, this can be one where you just feel more confident. When you think about Venus, because this is the dispositor of this moon, Venus is about this attraction energy right now. And Venus is in Virgo right now, so we're being discerning about what we're wanting to attract to ourselves, for sure. Excuse me. But also, if there is something that you're wanting to attract, Libra is like that if you get that interest in, it's like, I was just thinking about that one, that Ariana Grande song, I see it, I like it, I want it, I got it. And that's what I feel like this this moon in Libra could come with, that attitude. Like, what do you want? This is Leo, or this is a Leo Leo cycle that we're working with. So what do you want to focus your energy on? What do you want? What would really kind of light you up? And what would really kind of help bring a bit more, get more balance, a bit more harmony, a bit more confidence even to you as well. Because Libra is a very confident sign, being that, very confident energy. And I just don't mean like people with Libra suns. That's what we're learning with Libra. Let me get a little water here. Bam. But yeah, that's one, I feel like some ways that we can work with Libra. So just think about some things that you're wanting to start up in your life, and what it is that you're teetering on. Because it could be where, well, what if this happens? Well, what if that happens? Well, what if neither of those things happen? What if something in between happens? What if a fusion of the things happen? Libra on a more less beneficial side, depending on what's going on, could lead to this place of, I don't feel like Libra is necessarily, it's not indecisive because they don't know what to do per se. I actually remember someone with their sun in Libra was talking with me about this. It was just like, it was the fact that I've considered all of the options, and if I see where both of them aren't going to, there's not a winning thing for either of them, I'm just not gonna do anything. We're just gonna move on because it's like, well, I don't want to start. I don't want to. Why? But I do feel that there's a need to have a bit. It's giving me almost like a Two of Swords energy, needing a bit more flexibility when we're making decisions. Like, sure, things could go. It's less about thinking how things are gonna go right or go wrong, and just realize that whatever decisions that we make, they're just gonna have consequences regardless, and we're gonna learn from it, whatever that looks like. But I feel like that's not wanting, the moon does not wanting you to deter you from whatever this activity is or whatever this thing that you're wanting to start up. So just something to think about. Now, if you have your moon in Libra, this is a lovely placement for the moon. I feel like Libra energy is one that does have this way of speaking with tact, speaking with there's this sense of, a lot of loving energy, I feel, with Libra. And that's what I really enjoy about moon, like Libra moons and suns and risings. There is a lot of just genuine love that is there. There's this effort to really, create this sense of harmony, and there's this natural, again, just kind of grace and elegance that comes with Libra. And of course, they're being the cardinal air sign. You of course you're going to have someone who has, is going to be a bit smooth. It's not to say that they're always going to land smoothly, but I feel that Libra energy can essentially recover well once it does get a feel for what's going on. It's like, oh, I made or delivered this joke, ooh, and that didn't land so well. How can I fix that? Okay, let's do this, because I find Libra signs are really funny too. They got a great sense of humor. So, but if your moon's in Libra, one way is the moon that wants you to take care of yourself is see where you are initiating from. Pay attention to where your thoughts are at. Are you initiating from a place of balance or imbalance? And just honor that, and just see where, if you have been noticing that things have been feeling out of balance, let's say in your relationships with whatever that may be, then you want to look to see if you wanted to, kind of correct or kind of nurture these moon signs, you want to look to the dispositor of the moon. So if you have your moon in Libra, you look to where your Venus placement is at. So let's say, for example, if I had my moon in Libra, this could be fun. So if I had my moon in Libra, that would actually be the moon being my third house. And so that would deal with like friends, relatives, siblings, and not friends like kind of like childhood friends, but friends nonetheless, kind of like the casual kind of friendships there. Not as like, it's fine. But yeah, relatives and things, rituals, things along those lines. And then Venus is in my first house in Leo. So if I wanted to do some things to take care of my moon placement, it's just like, what are some, I could look to see, like, can I maybe help my friends out? Not to my detriment, of course, but, maybe help some friends out, maybe do some community service. That's another third house thing that can maybe do. Maybe I do go on like some short trips, possibly, if I'm noticing that I'm feeling a bit depleted in my energy, something that can help kind of fuel me back up. That would be something how I would say, because then we're looking at the first house, which is my body, which is my energy, my supply. That's where the ascendant is. So, doing those sort of like Venusian activities could really help you get back into this state of balance, into this state of harmony, and, making sure that your relationships have that sense of flow, that they're coming from a very, very steady foundation, and that, and just correcting, if there's any sort of like imbalances anywhere, taking those initiation, doing that cardinal air energy, having those conversations, taking that action, whatever the consequences may be, and know that everything always falls back into balance. So just something to think about with that. Now, last thing here, we'll talk about the void of course. And the void of course is going to happen on a Venus day, Friday, the 9th of August at about 2:44 p.m. And that'll go until Saturn day, that's Saturday, the 10th of August, till about 3:33 p.m. Look at that, 3:33. So we're looking at about a 24-hour, 49-minute void of course time there. So you can say pretty much the latter half of, from like early afternoon until early afternoon Saturday. This is a really kind of nice void of course energy. One, the void of course is when the moon forms her final aspect with a celestial body, and then she does this thing they called back in ancient times canodromia, where I think that was what the Greeks called it, and it's where she's just roaming the void. And the moon doesn't have any energy there at this time. It's not necessarily recommended to start things up. It's a great time for finishing things out, tying up any sort of loose ends. I like to think of it too as you're just reflecting on the time that happened while the moon was in Libra. What were some feelings that came up? What do we want to do about that? What does that mean going forward? And this would have been this was a pretty, like a semi-active moon. She formed about 3 aspects, and I'm working with the traditional planets, by the way. So she formed it was like about 3 aspects while she was in Libra. So this was a bit of a quieter time. And one thing too, really kind of pay attention to what came up, especially if any sort of ideas, any sort of inspirations, any sort of just like, ahas, or you hear something in or you're talking in a conversation, because the aspect that forms let's try that again. The last aspect that she forms with a celestial body usually flavors that void of course time. So for that next 24-hour period, she had formed a sextile with the sun, and we were talking about that earlier with the waxing crescent energy. So sextiles are when the planets are 60 degrees apart from each other, so they're in that same sort of similar gender energy as far as like masculine energy, the sun being in Leo, the moon being in Libra. And so there is this sort of this is an active sextile. So this could be, again, a time where it's falling from the sun. It's going to be a bit of a weaker aspect. And the sextiles are already kind of a weaker one anyway. But they create opportunities. There could be this excitement. You could get something that comes up for you. You can write some things down if things come up for you. And then play around with it. Get creative. The moon in Libra. And it's not like we're starting it up. Like I was saying, we're not starting things yet. But maybe you're just getting the rubric for it. Like, okay, what would be some things that I would need to get in order to get this thing started up? And then maybe sit with that for a little bit. See if you still have that same passion for it when the moon is in Scorpio. And then maybe you can use that Scorpion energy and channel that into this project, and that could really even carry you forward into Sagittarius, and things really start to bloom here. So just some ways to play, or just to kind of play around with these energies. And if you're curious about how these energies are kind of coming up how they're playing around in your chart, you want to learn how to sync up with your cycles a bit more. Well, one, I would say, come over to the Lunar Mansion with me. I just started this little package not too long ago where it's a lunar group where we're working with the moon, and we're working over a 27-month period. If you pay once, you pay once, and then you're a part of that lunar cycle. And then for any future lunar cycles, you get everything at a discount. And then that'll include any courses that I plan on releasing down in the future. I'm even maybe thinking about maybe even some sort of books or something. We'll just see. The opportunities are limitless. We'll just see. We'll see where we're at when we get to about the 9th house. But yes, I would say if you're wanting to work with these lunar cycles more personally, and go from being this, because every time I'm talking here, it's always very general. But this way, you can work in a group as well. We can ask questions. I look over your whatever your progressed signs are doing. Are there any sort of planets or any sort of lunations that are going to be falling on any sort of planets or points around your chart? So that way you can maybe see if there are any other future lunar courses that you want to look into. And of course, I'm going to be sharing different resources that I have. I've been studying nakshatras, so I'm going to be sharing information about that, sharing different celestial resources things. There's going to be a lot of little extra goodies in there. I created a whole Slack channel for that. So yeah, it's a really exciting thing. So if that's something that you're curious about, the Virgo new moon cycle is going to be starting on the 2nd of September. So definitely check that down in the description box. You have until the day before to sign up for it. And I have different time zones. I have to check to see if Mercury retrograde. I have to check to see something with the times. I feel like is showing up a little strange right now. But I have 4 spots open at 4 different times, at 4 different time periods. So I'm starting off small at first, and then as it grows, I'll open up more spots during the week as well. So just something to keep in mind. But if not, if you have any questions, I also have a link down there to book a free consultation with me, and we can discuss anything that in any of the services that I provide that you may be curious about. So definitely check all that stuff out. And then last little bit, these readings that I do, they're not gender specific readings, so apply these energies appeal as they make sense for your situation. Now let's talk about this cool stuff here, because if I'm remembering correctly, in another deck, Archangel Gabriel is the Empress and Venus is the Empress, but you have Archangels, let me try that again. Gabriel's dragon, let me get myself together, brings purification. Yeah, let's purify this whole thing. Self-discipline will speed ascension and bring joy. You can carry Archangel Gabriel's diamond. Okay. So I guess I'm just excited just because you have this diamond here that you're getting ready to shine. This new download that I feel like is coming in. But I feel that there's that self-discipline. I feel like it's not just letting an idea just stay an idea. You know, I read something that I liked about Libra in like this medical astrology book, where Gemini is the inhale and Sagittarius is the exhale, but Libra is the pause between breaths. And I feel like this self-discipline is not leaving something at a pause, but allowing it to exhale. You know, just taking the thought and just rolling with it and knowing that you'll adapt something as it goes. But I feel like if there's a lot of this kind of start and stop energy, this diamond here starts to lose its luster a little bit. And it's not that it itself lost luster, but it's more so like the passion, the energy for it is not there to bring it. So there's something here with that brings purification too. I'm almost thinking like, when I think about Libra, there's in the chart of the Thema Mundi, Libra falls at the 4th house, and I'm getting there's something here that about looking into. Because usually where we learn to initiate, where we learn to speak, where we learn a lot of our things comes from the home space, which would make sense, for Libra being associated or being located in that 4th house. This is where you first learn how to establish balance between whomever your parental figures were at that time. And so I feel there's something here about even bringing purifications about maybe you were someone who's been told that you can't do something, or maybe that this guy, when you had an idea, got shut down right away, or there wasn't this creative expression, maybe there wasn't this love for maybe the ideas or something that came up here. But now you're at this place where it's like this energy is wanting you to release something here, to start something new, this cardinal air, in that knowing that Archangel, that idea, that diamond will carry out and kind of prosper here. It will kind of proclaim itself. Like I'm trying to salvage that. Let's move on. That's interesting. Let's get some tarot on this and get some details. That's an interesting start. All right. Thanks, Divine Self. Let's see what's going on here. Interesting. Okay, so you have the Devil, Capricorn, the 9 of Wands, and the 9 of Swords upright, and you have the Hanged Man in reverse. And that's interesting. This Hanged Man here is giving me this needing to see something from a different perspective. I feel like an idea. It's, the Hanged Man can just be hanging itself just like almost out of punishment here. I feel like it's almost like something that we're dragging out a little bit. That's interesting. The Devil. The Devil is giving me this. This could be some sort of some sort of stress, some sort of fear behind, maybe you're wanting to, change up how you show up in relationships. Maybe you're someone who has, just for example, just like a crippling shyness, maybe, and now you're wanting to figure out how to face these fear, that makes it so that it doesn't have this sort of power. There's something I feel like is looming here, like, and you see this Nine of Wands here, and it's like, it seems like this fear is hollow within. It's some, but it doesn't make it any less real, is what I'm getting. There's a dual side here. This is the Nine of Swords is Mars and Gemini, and Mars is in Gemini right now, and but the Nine of Wands. Let's talk about this. Even though this cat seems to be, the Nine of Wands can be this a lot of energy. This could be, that's the moon in Sag. I feel like it's a lot of big energy, a lot of kind of back and forth. Maybe been seeming like a lot of attacks have been going on. Maybe you've been kind of forcing, I'm getting like a forcing the energy, kind of forcing yourself to kind of show up, to maybe you had these dreams of doing something, but after so much time of just being denied or whatever that is, you just kind of got into this loop. I'm getting even like an Eight of Swords type of energy with this, but it's like how you can get into that certain mindset, and then you just end up settling for something, and then it's just like the energy is just kind of forcing this thing, but it's just like we keep pushing something down here, and this That's very interesting. I'm looking at, this is an intense devil here. It feels like that there's this no other, I feel like it's like you don't know what other way to go to bring this joy that this diamond is wanting to bring here. And I feel like there's a trap thing here. It's like, there's, even though you don't want to go to this devil here, it's like better the devil than it's like this, it feels like that you don't have, I'm not quite sure with that devil. Let me get a little bit more with that before we move on from this. And this could be just maybe a need to, it's kind of self-discipline here to kind of speak more love into your world. Interesting. Thanks to myself. So the devil is clarified by Capricorn's ruler, the Saturn here, the world, and then you have the Four of Pentacles here. And I feel like this Four of Pentacles, it feels like something you've been kind of hoarding something, been kind of keeping something, like your light hasn't been able to shine bright, but now something is over with the world being here. A chapter is done, or at least there's an invitation for it to be done. And it may be something it's like you're needing to do, maybe you're not feeling ready yet, and this is not something to force yourself, And listen, the Nine of Wands, I feel you're going to make mistakes. It's just like, it reminds me of when I would work, when I used to work at restaurants, and like I would, be training like someone who's coming in, and it's like, well, I don't want to drop anything. And I was just like, just let that go. You're going to drop something. It won't be, it's not going to be often, it's not like what you think, but it's going to happen. And it's going to be when you least expect it. So it's just like, let's just get out of your system, drop something right now. Here, you know what? Oops. And look, it's done. We grab a broom and then we move on. And then, magically they come back, they get replaced. So, I mean, we want to be mindful, but that's what I'm getting with this. So that's interesting start. Interesting start. And I'm even thinking that, because that's that little blurt earlier. Maybe there's just something that's needing to get out, something that's wanting to be said. And that's interesting. Like, it's like let's get some more on this. Whoa. All right. Okay, that was, wow. Okay, so, Yeah, I don't know if you saw that, but that like he got the death card here. That like exploded out. I don't think I've seen a card do that before. So let's get into this thing. All right. Thanks, Divine Self. Whoa. All right, Major Arcana City. So you have the Sun card in reverse, and you have their ruler. Not their ruler. You have Leo here, the Strength card, and then the Death card, Scorpio here. Something's ready to close out. I feel that, and that was interesting that I had brought that attention to that rib cage, because now there's more kind of, it's looking at, I feel like there's this thing about looking to this down to the skeleton of something. Looking down to Scorpio is a fixed water sign, so there's something that's stuck. When I think about fixed water, I think about ice. That's one imagery that comes to mix with when there's water, and it's just like, it's frozen. There's, the weather is looking like it's going to be dreary for a while. So what I find with Scorpio, one thing to help move those emotions is like their ruler is Mars. So how can we activate that? How can we turn whatever this fixed emotion is into something strength, turn it into fuel, let it fuel you in a different type of way. Leo is fixed fire. So it's like, how can we there's a lot of fixed energy here that just came out with that. And something is, I feel like, is not being seen clearly. I feel like maybe it's whatever this devil is that's hold. The devil tends to hold, or at least get you feeling in this state of helplessness, of hopelessness, and I feel like the Sun card here is where it may seem like it's hopeless. You have more power than you think. And look at this, even this woman up here. There's this catharsis that's happening in her face. That's very interesting. I feel like there's something here. Maybe that cat. This one. This one. This zombie cat. This ghost cat. I feel like that's almost like spirit. Like almost in a way of like just like kind of looking outside of yourself for a moment, and kind of understanding this seeing a situation from a different vantage point. I'm not. That's interesting. That's what I'm getting from that. So, and I feel maybe this archangel's this diamond here. This could be that strength that you're carrying. That might be another thing that you're carrying. Like, it may not be necessarily creating something per se, but maybe it's just creating a more harmonious life, creating more love in your life, more peace in your relationships, even with whatever this relationships may be. But the Death card is signifying that something is ready to change, I think, with this here. And it's just like, are you ready to face that change? It is going to take discipline, with this Capricorn. There's going to take this. It's going to take this discipline, but I feel too it's not something that you necessarily have to do solitary with Capricorn. I think Capricorn sometimes can take the weight of the world on their shoulders. They feel like they have to be the providers, the ones that are always doing the things, but you need people to help you to do those things, to help you. We're a team. And so that might be something here. Like sharing. So yeah, that's interesting. All right, let's get some advice from Venus. All right. Thanks, Divine Self. Last little bit here. All right, so you have the Knight of Wands in reverse, and then you have the Seven of Wands and the Five of Pentacles upright here. And let's switch back over. This Knight of Wands, this feels this feels like things have been like life has. That's interesting. I'm getting one. I feel like it's like life has been, maybe if you feel like life has been just moving you all over the place. It's like, especially with Mercury retrograde right now, I feel like this is a great time to try to slow things down a little bit, to really kind of analyze what's going on here. You know, the Five of Pentacles, you know, there's this energy of, you know, kind of not certain where the future is, how you're going to get the resources that you're going to need to do to build this thing. This is Mercury in Taurus. But I do feel that there's another way here. There's this action here that I feel it's like with this Seven of Wands, you know, it's almost giving me like like someone telling you that again that you can't do something, that you can't do this. But I feel this, it's the Seven of Wands is like a not listening to that, a getting like a putting up this barrier here. This Venus is in Virgo. There's this discernment that is happening right now of us kind of like analyzing what's going on with some things. And I feel like this Knight of Wands is kind of tired. For me, this is Leo energy, and again, that fixed fire. It can just keep a Leo energy is one that can, you know, depending on where they feel their self-worth is at, you know, will give and give and give and give and give to just try to prove themselves. And it's just like they just drain that energy away. And I feel like this is something that, looking at something that's just like that's draining you, that's just like, you know, I can't, like, this is just, it's not working. And knowing that like this Five of Pentacles, it's just like there are more resources available than you think, I feel, with this, you know. But you know, this may not be certain where this is at, but I feel like there are resources out there, you know. But if we pull from lack, then that's all we're going to get is this lack. But if we pull from abundance, we can find some things, you know. We can really stretch some, you know. Moon and Libra, you know, communicate these things. I think I'm gonna leave that there. Little something to meditate on. But if you like that, if anything resonates, and again, I apologize, I should have, you know, adjust your volume. That was very interesting. But if you like that, if anything resonated with you, give it a thumbs up and share this. Just share this if you know someone who could take some sort of nuggets of wisdom from this. And then subscribe there, you son. Hit that bell button, get notified on all these videos each day. And then last little bit, if you're wanting to check out what the other celestial bodies are doing in the sky, want to see what the chit-chat's going on there, then come on over to my other channel, Alchemist 8. I do weekly videos there doing that. And then I'm going to get back on. I've been kind of, there's been a lot going on. I've just been getting a lot kind of cooked up here and doing a lot of studying here. But I also do these planetary placement videos. There's no kind of rhyme or reason with them. I'm going to start trying to keeping those more regular. But yeah, that's what I do on that other channel. And all the housekeeping is down in the description box below. But let me get your surprise cards here, so I can get you out of here. And yeah, that Lunar group, I'm really excited about that. So if you are, thanks to myself. Yeah, if you are looking to just come across to, you know, and to join just a state of community, because there is something nice about trying to create and growing together, you know. And this is very low kind of commitment. It's like once you pay once, you know, like you're in, and then you don't have to hit every lunar one to stay in the group. You're just in, and it's, you know, we just talk about ones. You're just like, hey, are there any ones like I should be looking out for? And I'll send you a whole list of stuff, you know, when you buy things too, to give you like over like the next like 9 months, you know, our time together. I'll give you for the 27 months that we're together, I'll just give you different lunar transits. So you're like, ooh, okay, like that eclipse is falling pretty close to my Mars, or this new moon is falling here. Maybe I want to get this course, and then get in this course, and then kind of work on some things, and the other stuff I may have pretty much under control, or, you know. So just something to think about there. But let's talk about your surprise card here. You got the serendipity card here, and I like that. You know, this is the 18th card, which is the moon card energy. This illusion, and I feel that there's this this feeling here of feeling like maybe like you've been down on your luck, that maybe it's that you haven't been able to see, that been able to, that just like it's just like things have been just out of your grasp. But the moon card is that illusion energy. You know, it's this, it's that, it's Pisces. It's a thing that we can create in our imaginations, but that can change. You know, Pisces is mutable water. It's not like Scorpio, where it can get necessarily gets locked in on one thing. We can move this stuff around and change our luck. You know, and just as quickly as we could have seen ourselves losing stuff, we can get ourselves back up. But I feel that it's looking for these, it's acknowledging these little you know, we had these, just we had gotten some groceries the other day, and this little like free thing, like little extra thing of yogurt, like they'll just kind of by itself, we didn't get charged for it, was there. And then like just like little you come to appreciate these little wins, and then the big wins kind of happen here. But I do feel like there is this mindset thing here that's coming with this. But this serendipity, I'm even getting almost like a Wheel of Fortune energy. Like things are going to start changing. You know, when you really start setting these intentions, when you're like, for example, just working with the moon, you know, is a very simple one. You start setting these intentions. The moon is a great marker for things. You start seeing these tangible results. I'll tell you what, one of my intentions on my thing for the Aries, that Aries new moon eclipse back in April, was I'm so in sync with the moon cycle. I am so in sync with the moon cycle. It is unreal. Like it's wild. It's just been nonstop lunar information, and it's just like my solar return. I'm in Cancer energy this year, especially, you know, of course my sun's in Cancer, but my rising sign is in Cancer this year. So paying attention with the moon. I set this tone that year, and so literally my whole year is like the universe is just like, oh, okay. I'm glad you asked. So little things like that. You ask, the universal give. The universal give, and then it's just trusting. And then it's just releasing how. It's the universe will bring it. It always delivers, and it's just you gotta let go of just when, you know, releasing that expectation and know that that diamond is there. It's already shining. We see the beacon. The universe sees the beacon. Divine timing. So that's what I think I'm gonna leave that there. So until next time. Oh wait, until next time, let me read you, because I was like, wait, I know there's something I wanted to do here. Affirmation. Oh, the bell. I'm going to get on this bell thing. But you know what? We're going to do one for an affirmation for the right conditions today. And let's talk about divine love. So I figured that'd be nice for Libra. But divine love now dissolves and dissipates every wrong condition in my mind, body, and affairs. Divine love is the most powerful chemical in the universe and dissolves everything which is not itself. And I absolutely love that. What a way to get yourself in harmony. So until next time, stay mindful out there. Keep raising that vibration to the roof. Seize the day and the night. And I will catch you on the next one, Saturn Day.